Empire. In and out. We bombed 3 sites the other night for the sake of peace, and now we need some perspective from our coalition to make sense of why this is happening and what we can do about it. So please welcome one of our first speakers from the organization, Palestinian Youth Movement, Brother Sammy. Please, brother, introduce yourself and please help us make sense of this and hold this tight at the bottom. Everyone. No more U.S. attacks!
No more U.S. attacks!
Iran, we got your back!
Iran, we got your back!
No more U.S. attacks!
No more U.S. attacks!
Iran, we've got your back!
Iran, we've got your back!
Hey everyone, I'm Sammy with the Palestinian Youth Movement. We're a transnational, grassroots, independent organization of Arab and Palestinian youth fighting for the liberation of our homeland and people from Zionism and imperialism. After greenlighting the Zionist entities' unprovoked attacks against Iran, the United States has directly attacked them, bombing 3 of its nuclear sites. Shame!
Shame!
The U.S. has lied, just like it did in Iraq, saying that Iran was capable of producing nuclear weapons, but this could not be further from the truth. Iran is a signatory of the Non-Proliferation Treaty and has allowed international observers to examine and monitor the uranium supplies and enrichment. Over and over again, we have received confirmation that no weapon-grade uranium was being produced. Meanwhile, the Zionist entity of Israel has refused to sign on to this treaty, illegally possessing nuclear arms, and all at the same time committing a genocide against our people in Gaza. Shame!
Shame!
Make no mistake, the U.S. and Israel, they don't even believe that Iran is capable or is attempting to make nuclear weapons. They started this war of aggression to subjugate Iran. Why? Because it has been able to develop itself independently and outside of the influence of the imperialists. Despite U.S. sanctions, and despite the traitorous and insidious collaborator, comprador Arab regimes, Iran has refused to accept the Zionist occupation of Palestine. It is Iran's refusal to bend to the imperialist desires, not its peaceful nuclear program. That is the reason why it is being attacked by the U.S. and by Israel. Shame!
Shame!
The real danger to the region is not Iran, but rather the Zionist entity of Israel, backed by the U.S. Israel has always sought the people of the Middle East to rely on the United States' aid and influence, not allowing these people, our people, to have control over our resources in the region. The imperialists seek to run Iran, and form Iran to another proxy state in the region, a weak subservient state that only serves the interests of its imperialist overlords. Are we going to let that happen?
Yes!
And we say that because the objectives, despite the bombing, despite everything, the U.S. and Israel have been unsuccessful. They claim they destroyed the nuclear sites, but they still haven't done so. They've only done reparable damage. They've used negotiations to try to trap Iran. And now all they've done is just made themselves look untrustworthy and warmongering. So it is our duty as people of conscience to oppose the wars of aggression that the ruling class want us to fight. Are we going to have them do that?
No!
The people of the region are waking up to show their power with hundreds of thousands turning out in the streets of Tehran, and so are we here in the heart of empire. Just as the Arabs in North Africa took off Gaza in the Sumud March this past week, we too will continue to mobilize with the national action in D.C. this Saturday, and all throughout this week. Because we know that just as the people of Iran took to the streets to refuse and demand independence against foreign interference, we too must continue to organize, to join organizations, and to build together to demand that our governments stop supporting the Zionist entity of Israel and stop sending our money that we need here at home for jobs and education, to bomb Gaza and to occupy Palestine. No more U.S. attacks!
No more U.S. attacks!
Iran, we've got your back!
Iran, we got your back!
What do we want? Hands off Iran! What do we want?
Hands off Iran!
When do we want it?
Now!
Not a penny, not a dollar!
Not a penny, not a dollar!
No more money for Israel slaughter!
No more money for Israel slaughter!
Money for jobs and education!
Money for jobs and education!
Not for war and occupation!
Not for war and occupation!
Enough!
That was Sammy from the PYM. Thank you so much, Sammy!
Hands off Iran!
Hands off Iran!
Hands off Iran!
Hands off Iran!
When Iran is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up for attack!
When Iran is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up for attack!
What do we do?
Stand up for attack!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Thank you, thank you. So we're going to keep going with our program, trying to make sense of all this nonsense. You're going to hear a lot of names of different programs. Everyone who talks, they are available for you to reach out to. We need to get organized. We need to fight this together. So please reach out as you hear these different organizations talk about their perspective, their analysis on this. Next up, please give a warm welcome for Devin from the Black Alliance for Peace.
Peace, comrades. Peace, Africans. I'm Devon from Black Alliance for Peace, Baltimore. The Trump administration's decision to strike Iran is a reckless escalation that underscores the dangerous and destabilizing role of U.S. imperialist aggression in West Asia. This act is not an isolated incident, but part of a broader pattern of militarism and disregard for international law that defines the U.S., EU, NATO axis of domination. By unilaterally attacking Iran under the pretext of deterrence, the U.S. demonstrates its commitment to maintaining global hegemony through violence, regardless of the catastrophic human consequences. Change! Initial reports suggest that the U.S. and the Zionist entity of Israel have practiced this bombing exercise for at least a year, underscoring the duopoly's consistent aggression against the national sovereignty of Iran. This continued alignment with Israel further exposes the hypocrisy of Western powers, which routinely violate sovereignty and self-determination while masquerading as defenders of democracy. The U.S. and Israel have long operated with impunity, sabotaging regional stability and perpetuating cycles of violence that disproportionately harm oppressed people. From Palestine to Yemen, from Iraq to Syria, their interventions have left trails of devastation, displacing millions in entrenching comprador regimes that serve imperial interests. Such actions are not just illegal under the international law, but are fundamentally anti-human, prioritizing geopolitical dominance over the lives and rights of millions. This strike is a desperate attempt to assert waning U.S. dominance, revealing the irrationality of a system that would rather risk global conflict than relinquish control. As U.S. hegemony faces growing challenges from anti-imperialist resistance to the rise of multipolar blocs, its ruling class clings to militarism as a last resort. But the world cannot afford the continued madness of U.S. foreign policy. The only path forward is the total dismantling of imperialist structures and the building of international solidarity among oppressed peoples. We stand with the masses of Iran, Palestine, and all those resisting U.S.-led aggression. The world cannot afford the continued madness of U.S. imperialism. Thank you.
retreat! No retreat!
They say more war! More war! We say no more!
We say no more!
They say more war!
They say more!
We say no more!
They say more war!
We say no more!
Resistance is justified!
When people are occupied!
When people are occupied!
Resistance is justified!
Resistance is justified!
When people are occupied!
When people are occupied!
Resistance is justified!
Resistance is justified!
When people are occupied!
When people are occupied!
Hands up, Iran!
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 Make some noise!
Next up, please show some love for the All African People's Revolutionary Party. Rafiki, please come to the stage. Help us make sense of all this.
Can y'all, y'all can hear me. How y'all doing? I really tried to think carefully before we come out here to talk to people. And given the situation that we're in right now, we think it's important that people have a real understanding of what's going on. And I think before we get to there, you need to understand where I stand. Because I hear people talking about our government and our president and our Congress and our money. But it ain't my government, it ain't my president, it ain't my Congress, and it ain't my money. It's the government of settlers. It's the government of land thieves. And that's all they're doing is continuing this process of stealing land. You're standing on stolen land right now. Look around. The native people can't come out here today because they know that ICE is looking for them. This is their land, but ICE is looking for them. So we need to understand what's going on. This is not our government. If it was our government, it would have our interests at heart. If it was our government, it would do something about the conditions that we live in. If it was our government, then we would be able to have some kind of influence on what they do. But we don't have no influence. They don't do nothing for us. They don't give a damn about us, and they don't belong to us. We are not their people. That is not our government. That's point number A. Point number B. Everybody thinks it's Israel is bombing Iran. They think it was Israel that went into Lebanon. They think it was Israel that went into Syria. And they think this because they've been getting their news from ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, and all the rest of these Zionist news agencies that want you to think that Israel is planning by itself what is happening. But it is not Israel. And we need to pay attention. That bombing of those nuclear sites took at least 3 or 4 months to plan. They didn't just wake up in the morning and say, we're going to bomb these nuclear sites. The bomb, they call it a bunker buster. The bunker buster was designed to bust that particular bunker. It wasn't something they just had sitting in their article. They developed it so they could do what they did. That didn't happen yesterday. That's been happening years and years and years. This bomb weighs 30,000 pounds. That Israel don't have no bombs like that. In order to drop that bomb where they dropped it, they had to commit genocide in Gaza. In order to drop that bomb where they dropped it, they had to dismantle Hezbollah in Lebanon. In order to drop that bomb where they dropped it, they had to reoccupy the Golan Heights and other parts of Syria. All of that was to clear the road for this pig in the White House to go there and drop the bomb that they've been planning to drop all along.
Shame!
Israel is a proxy, a puppet, a tool, an agency of the U.S. imperialist complex. They are part and parcel of what the U.S. is doing, and they plan to do it all over the world. They're trying to soften up Western Asia. They call it the Middle East. It ain't no Middle East. Ain't no such thing as the Middle East. It's the East and the West, and that's Western Asia. They came in Western Asia with the intent of crowding the borders of Russia, of putting pressure on China, of putting pressure on North Korea, putting pressure on Iran. Why? Because these people are challenging the U.S. dollar. Because they're trying to get out of U.S. hegemony. Because they want to use their resources to benefit their own people. And anytime you start talking about taking your diamonds and your gold and your oil and using it for yourself and not giving them privileged access to it, they're going to shut you up, shut you down, bomb you to hell, and try to change the regime.
Shame!
You have to understand. In Lebanon, they destroyed the national infrastructure. In Syria, they destroyed the political leadership and the national infrastructure. In Gaza, they destroyed every damn thing. But they got a problem now, because you can destroy the national infrastructure in Iran and you will not stop the Iranians. In order to stop the Iranians, they got to do what they did in Libya. They got to destroy the state, every institution, that's what they got to do. And because we know that that's what they got to do, we also know that this thing ain't going to end tomorrow, y'all. This is going to go on and on and on. And we have to be careful how we talk. Now, Trump said that Iran is a state sponsor of terrorism and who always talks about death to America and death to Israel. So I got news for you. Israel is not being a state sponsor of terrorism. Israel is a terrorist state. The state is terrorist. And Israel is weaker today than it has ever been.
That's right.
Everybody in the world knows that they are the committers of genocide. Everybody knows it. And everybody has to choose. We have been to the United Nations. We have been to the International Criminal Court. We have been to the International Court of Justice. We have been to the African Union. We have been to the U.S. Congress. We have been talked to the White House. We have talked to everybody we can talk to. And now it's time for this talk to stop. We got to get organized. We have to come together. We have to unite. And we have to understand that the biggest Zionist state is not that tiny little state called Israel. The biggest Zionist state is the state you standing in, the United States of America. These are the Zionists. So when you say hands off Iran, you really saying smash Zionism. When you say hands off Hezbollah, you saying smash Zionism. When you say stop shooting our little brothers down in the streets of Baltimore, you saying smash Zionism. Because the police learned how to put their knee on your neck from the Zionists. We have to be understood clearly here. Zionism is the enemy of humankind. And humanity will not know peace as long as the Zionists continue. And I'm not just talking about the ones in Palestine. All of them. We must smash Zionism. So this is where we're going to end. Smash Zionism.
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 And let's change this world and make a better place for humanity. I would be remiss if I didn't take a minute to talk to my brothers and sisters. Africa. There's a rumor going around in our community that what is happening in our land has nothing to do with us. That it's not our business. That it's not our struggle. That it's not our fight. This is a goddamn lie. This is our fight. In fact, we've been fighting these imperialists longer than anybody. It is not about us joining their fight, it's about them joining us fight. Because imperialism is our enemy. We hear people talking about World War III because they got nuclear bombs and they're worried about dropping the nuclear bombs and starting a war all over the world. Well, we've been engaged in a world war ever since they came to Africa and stole my black ass and brought me over here. World war is nothing new to us. You can't scare us with talk of world war. We live world war. We die world war. We know world war. We want world war because we know that if we engage in war against imperialism everywhere at the same time, we will destroy imperialism and build a better life for the masses of African people scattered around the world. We want world war because when we go into it, we will win it. Stay strong. Come together. And as always, stand ready for the revolution. Thank you very much.
No boots on the ground, no bombs in the air. No boots on the ground, no bombs in the air. U.S. out of everywhere. U.S. out of everywhere. No boots on the ground, no bombs in the air. No boots on the ground, no bombs in the air. U.S. out of everywhere. U.S. out of everywhere. Hands off Iran. 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 Make some noise, everybody.
Thank you, Brother Rafiki, for that incredible trans-historical perspective. Next up, we have Comrade Zach up here from the PSL to help give us some more perspective. Please welcome Comrade Zach.
Hey everybody, I'm Zach and I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I wanted to get up here today to speak mostly to all of the active duty Marines, soldiers, sailors, airmen, guardians, and coasties, and more importantly to all of the kids who might be thinking about joining our military. Speak up! The military preys on young people with promises of free college, healthcare, travel, and camaraderie. They say you'll be sacrificing for these benefits, but that it's acceptable because you would be fulfilling your duty to your nation by protecting its freedom and constitution. But I ask, when has our military ever protected freedom? Were they protecting freedom when they genocided Native Americans or put down slave revolts? Was the colonization of Cuba and the Philippines protecting freedom? Was supporting apartheid in South Africa and Rhodesia for our freedom? Did we invade Korea and Vietnam because murdering malnourished farmers and children is instrumental in our American freedoms? Or perhaps the invasions of Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, or Somalia were truly the righteous wars where killing civilians and children finally led us to true freedom. ICE is arresting and rounding up immigrants with ICE in LA, making America a safer place.
No!
Our military exists solely for political, social, and economic control so that American corporations can line their pockets and strengthen the exploitation of the global South.
Yes!
Why would a war with Iran be any different from these past examples? I urge you, do not participate in imperialist wars for profit by joining our military. You won't die in honorable battle. You'll murder children from a plane and be awake every night thinking about it. If you're active duty or reserves, I urge you to reach out to your GI rights hotline right now. Pull that legal ripcord while you have a chance before you're staring down the barrel of a gun at some innocent child. The U.S. machine cannot run without our participation, and it is our duty not only to refuse to participate, but to actively work towards the end of U.S. imperialism. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hands up, Iran!
Hands up, Iran!
Hands up, Iran!
Hands off Iran!
Hands up, Iran!
Hands off Iran!
Hands up, Iran!
Hands off Iran!
They say more war!
They say more war!
We say no more!
We say no more!
They say more war!
They say more war!
We say no more!
We say no more!
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Stop bombing Iran now!
Stop bombing Iran now!
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Stop bombing Iran now!
Stop bombing Iran now!
It's a
Thank you. So to wrap up, I have a few more words I want to spit to y'all to give some of my perspective as hands off Iran. Hands off Iran. Hands off Iran. Hey. My name is Mike. I'm with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. And I wanted to share some more perspective, both from our party statement and for me as just how some Muslims are also talking about this in America. Peace. So today we're here to make sense of the seemingly wanton violence exerted upon Iran on behalf of the American empire. As we said in our party statement, Donald Trump's destruction of Iranian civilian nuclear energy sites by the use of bunker-busting bombs and cruise missiles will open the gates of hell in the Middle East, and perhaps igniting a regional and global war. You're absolutely right. The people of the United States should imagine their own reaction if a foreign power dropped 31,000-pound bombs and launched cruise missiles to destroy U.S. civilian nuclear reactors. This is what Donald Trump did to Iran the other night. Word. Absolutely. Many of us are veiled from seeing the truth of the empire and power. For general Americans, due to their Islamophobia, who are these foreigners who seem to hate us for our rights? Who dance on our flag and shout death to our government? How can we understand the colonized other from where we stand in the belly of the beast? For Muslims, it's due to sectarianism. As a Muslim who organizes in mosques across the DMV, I've seen my own community led astray because Iranians and populations within the axis of resistance are predominantly Shia Muslims. A minority within our community, a minority within a minority in America. Historically, these Orthodox Muslims are taught not to trust the other in the same way we are taught not to trust them here in America. I'm a community organizer I'm a community organizer in these mosques, and I want to address the propaganda that's prevalent in all of our communities in America. And what can we do about it? We are taught to see these Muslims as an other, where Americans are the same way Americans were taught to regard the residents of Iraq or Iran or Palestine or Yemen or Lebanon as the other. Mark Twain is famously attributed for saying, "God created war so Americans can learn geography." This othering is not accidental. It is done with a purpose, so that when billionaires want to bomb Iran or another country that obstructs U.S. interests, U.S. political interests, and economic control, they can rely on decades of propaganda to manufacture consent and to make these attacks seem reasonable. But no amount of propaganda can make us believe that Trump's actions to Iran were reasonable. We know it's not reasonable while we let homeless people sleep on the street and then blame Iran for promoting terrorism. Rather than teaching us the rich history of these cultures and civilizations around the world, we get a cherry-picked version of history that erases the atrocities America has perpetrated in these regions and in these countries. Yes. Absolutely. Meaning that many of us are the first time we learn about these places like Abu Ghraib, Fallujah, and Tehran will be headlines about featuring American war crimes perpetrated against them. We must actively work against that. We must go and learn about what Iran is, what Persians are, what are their own geopolitical interests in history. Fighting propaganda doesn't stop at Fox News is corny. Fighting propaganda means actively countering the narrative by reading, listening about the people and their government that our government wants to crush underfoot. Shame. We need to internalize that we need to constantly work within our own communities and with our own circles to internalize that these are humans who deserve the right to self-determine. And I will help them struggle to achieve this by any means necessary. Now that the bombs have dropped, Iran cannot be a theoretical concept to us as Americans. I say this also to American Muslims. Reading the writings of the current Ayatollah Khomeini, like his letter to the West in 2015, his declaration that nuclear bombs are haram and forbidden, that he wrote back in 2003, and to study the life of the late Ayatollah Khomeini, to understand pieces of the post-1979 revolutionary landscape in Iran. We need to understand and critically engage with all of these sources. Read Iranians yourself so you can make up your own mind and see Iran is just a place and Iranians are just a people, as dignified and striving as any other people. America is declining. Israel, the military base wearing the skin of a country, is declining. The late and great Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, may he be granted the highest levels of Jannah, described Israel as weaker than the spider's web. Do not be deceived by mainstream media. The Iron Dome, the depravity of Israelis. The people on the ground who fought them for decades know that inside those tanks are cowards clad in diapers. The Iron Dome, paired with American military cruisers and the regimes of Jordan and Egypt, could not stop Iranian missiles falling on Tel Aviv. And in the dying throes, Israel and the American empire, we can expect more viciousness and cruelty. Join us, any of us, to organize on behalf of colonized people, and to fight the forces of empire on any level you can. My Imam teaches us that everyone has a role when faced with overwhelming oppression. If you are able to, you must fight them and alleviate oppression for the wretched of the earth. If you cannot fight them, you must do everything you can to speak out against them. If you cannot speak out against them, you must learn them and hate them. Learn to fight in your heart and to know what the truth is. I pass this lesson to you to look deep within and to ask yourself, what am I sacrificing for the cause? My time, my effort, my sweat, a lot of sweat. And to push you to finding your own comrades on the street, in your home communities, and in your spiritual institutions, to band together to fight oppression on all levels. Thank you so much for coming out here. Thank you so much for sweating with us. We look forward to struggling with you, unfortunately, for a long summer. Please get organized with one of these organizations who spoke today, and we will see you at the National Action next Saturday, and any other announcements. Cool. Thank you, comrades!